Hey guys, Ponce here with an Arc Raiders video showcasing every single item you will need to progress. Now for those of you who just want a list and don't want an explanation or me yammering on or wasting your time, go to the description below. I put them all down there. Copy paste that. It's all this stuff that we're going to be looking at. So if you want more details on my commentary or where to find stuff, it's going to be a longer video. But if you literally just want that, you can get that information down there and get the hell on out of here. So you're welcome. Anyway, yeah, so let's start off with things you need in the workshop, and then we'll work our way towards the stuff you need for the caravan. Now, the reason this might be somewhat useful is because some of the items you encounter don't tell you that they're used for stuff. You might have, if you've been playing Arc Raiders, you might have noticed there's a whole bunch of items, and they're just listed as can be recycled or something like that, and then you discover, oh, wait a minute, I actually needed that for this upgrade thing, and the game just straight up doesn't tell you. So a little bit annoying. I've compiled a big old list here. So let's start with the Scrappy, so the chicken here. As you can see, you're not going to be able to see the exact individual tier, but again, I've listed everything off on a separate notepad here, so if you go to copy paste stuff, it is down below. Yeah, tier 1, dog collar, whatever, those are like super common. We don't need to talk about that. Everything I've noted with an asterisk, I'm going to talk about a bit. I'm not going to exhaustively talk about every single item, things I find easy to find or whatever. Of course, it's random what you get, so your mileage may vary. But first off, let's start off with tier 2 or leveling up number 2 of Scrappy. You need lemons and apricots, however you want to pronounce that. So, I will show you some good locations here via this thing of where you can find those. First off, Buried City has a small location here where there's a couple trees that seem to have, at least in my experience, apricots, but not lemons. I mostly didn't go here, but at the same time, this seems like the more quiet location from what I can tell. Not a lot of people go here. There's a lot of arcs flying around and stuff, and they can be annoying, but generally speaking, when I've gone here, people have not bothered me too much. The other location where everyone seems to go is, oops, not that one. It is, where is it? Blue Gate over here. The Olive Grove. So this seems to be this game's, if you're familiar with World of Warcraft, at least at the moment, this game's Stranglethorn Vale, where everyone just seems to be clustering here. Every time I've gone here, it's been an absolutely massive battle with just people murdering each other, people waiting for people to loot the trees and then snipe them from far away. I'm not sure if there's much else going on here, what other reason there is to be here, but as far as I can tell, it's specifically because of the trees. It wouldn't surprise me if there's some big YouTuber or Twitch streamer or something who popularized this or something. As, this is probably the busiest place I've seen in the entire game so far. There is also a bombardier, which might be targets for people if they're looking for that. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, this location you will be able to find lemons, apricots, which are a bit more rare. Lemons are much more common. And coming up, so just so we don't have to go over this again, there's a lot of olives here. That's the next tier. So yeah, you want to go here, be prepared for a battle. And of recording, a week after the game's launch. I imagine it will quiet down probably over time, but anyway, Scrappy, next order of, workshop, there we go. So the next tier of stuff is Prickly Pear's olives and cat bed. Not going to talk about the cat bed. We just talked about olives. Prickly Pear, I've found those quite difficult to find personally. I am actually, as you can see, still on that tier, and I've only found 2 over time, but I haven't prioritized them. I know roughly what you need to do to get them. So let's go over to play here. Any kind of desert map with cacti seem to spawn the fruit directly on the ground next to them. Like, you don't even interact with it like the trees. But yeah, I guess that's something of note. If you haven't interacted with the fruit trees, you got to click on them and you shake the fruit out and it falls on the ground. The cacti prickly pear fruit thing just seems to already be there. So Buried City, and it doesn't seem to be bound to any specific loot location. They're just kind of strewn about as far as I can tell. As you will note going forward, if you haven't noticed this already, night raids seem to improve the quality of loot. It, as far as I can tell, also will increase the number of fruit and stuff on the ground. So probably night raids with Buried City, Dam Battlegrounds, or probably your best bet. Maybe even Spaceport. I've never seen it there personally, but yeah, perhaps a bit of a bottleneck. And it seems like a somewhat a rare item, but again, I have not prioritized getting those. So just keep your eye out for cacti and stuff on the ground next to them. All right, last tier for Scrappy. Hold on. Go back to the workshop again. Mushrooms, they're just on trees. Particularly at night, you just got to keep your eyes open. I found almost all of them on the dam. I don't even know if they spawn anywhere else because I found all of mine on the dam, and by this point I have a pretty good number of them. So, yeah. Sometimes you'll also find them inside buildings at night on the dam. So again, keep that in mind. Just, yeah, look for mushrooms growing on the side of things. They look sort of like wood ears, if you're familiar with wood ears. Next thing, we're moving on to the Gunsmith. So, first two tiers are pretty straightforward. I don't think there's much of an issue there. Okay, so Gunsmith. Let's start with yeah, the rusted gear. So, rusted gears are pretty difficult to find. I'm finding that to be an issue personally. Level up here. I've only actually ever found one. I've been grouped with people and they've found more. It just seems like a kind of thing where you got to go to industrial areas and hope to find them. I don't know of any specific place that seems to guarantee them. So yeah, you just got to keep going industrial. Again, probably at night to increase the quality of the loot. And yeah, that's going to kind of be it there. I suppose I can note one location. You know what? No, let's talk about it now. The one I did found, or rather, I guess the three that I have found, have come from the launch tower here. Three in the sense that teammates have taken two, I have taken one. They were up here near where the, what's it called? The cooling fan or whatever it is, which we'll talk about much later, spawns. But that is not a guaranteed. It's just, I happen to have seen them there. Your mileage may vary with that. I mean, it's not even listed as industrial. It just happened, they happened to be there, so I don't know. All right, next, let's go ahead and... Oh, I guess Sentinel firing cores. Yeah, let's talk about those. So Sentinels are the turrets with the sniper rifle thing. They're pretty annoying to kill, but compared to some of the other high-tier mobs, they're not that bad. Oops, not there. You will find... Actually, no, Buried City. There'll be one somewhere, I believe it's somewhere at the top of the town hall. And there's also another one in one of the alleyways here. I don't remember exactly where it is, but if you wander around in the Buried City, there's at least two. I'm sure they exist elsewhere, but off the top of my head, that's where they exist. And again, as far as higher tier enemies go, or in terms of the higher tier loot, they're definitely not as bad as like the bombardiers, and though they are annoying. All right, next, let's go to, what are we on here? The gear bench. Gear bench it is. Gear bench, really the only thing I've found to be an issue is probably going to be the Bastion Cell, but I mean, you know where to get Bastions, you kill Bastions. I guess there is a bit of a thing with the Bastions. You might be able to get them from those, what are they called, like the first wave. They're already dead and they're just like the big set pieces, and you open them up, your crowbar or whatever, and it explodes and you jump off and you go up and loot. I swear I found in the beta one of the Bastion cells in one of those, and I've been told by others you can occasionally find them in those. I can't promise that, but I'm fairly certain I saw it in the beta, but I don't know about live. I have not encountered one, but I also haven't looted that many of these Bastion things. It's another thing I haven't really bothered with too much. Otherwise, you got to kill the big Bastion dude. All right, next on we have, okay, let's talk about, I guess, industrial batteries is again, this is a good opportunity to probably talk about the concept of, your mileage may vary, loot is random. I had no issue with industrial batteries at all. I spoke to someone who had a little bit of an issue with them, so I don't know, just content industrial areas. I was personally inundated with industrial batteries, so I don't know. Keep that in mind, I guess. All right, medical lab. Let's do this all at once. So tier 2 and tier 3, we have the rusted shut medical kit and the cracked bioscanner. I found, well, at least the Cracked Bioscanner, a little bit annoying, but not too bad. There's a lot of different medical places all around the different maps. So, for example, Dam has, where was it? The testing annex. I found both of those things there. I believe Buried City has a big actual hospital here. So between those two things and probably some incidental other stuff, you shouldn't have too much of a problem with this. I still haven't found my third rusted shut medical kit. I found two. Actually, before I knew what they were for, I melted one down. And so, yeah, this is why this list exists, so you don't want to melt stuff down. But again, I haven't really prioritized looking for them, so I don't think it's too much of an issue. The more annoying thing is probably going to be the Surveyor Vault. That's those rolling guys. They're kind of like loot goblins. You shoot them once and they just book it. If you wait a while, they'll shoot up a blue beam into the ground. And when they're doing that, they're more vulnerable to damage. So you're just going to have to kill those. I don't know if they guarantee a drop. I've killed a grand total of 2 of them, and I found 2 Surveyor Vaults. So for me, it's 100% drop ratio. Also keep in mind, they'll drop like parts and stuff as you shoot them when they run off. So wherever you shot them, make sure you go to that location, loot the parts that are on the ground, because I've found one from killing one at the end, and I found one from just parts that scattered around. So yeah, don't leave the loot behind. All right, next let's move on to the explosives station. Up here. Station right there. Synthesized Fuel. That's really shouldn't be much of an issue because you can go over here and let's see, traders, and you can buy them for seeds. If you don't want to do that, I have found them. Where is it? Over here. Play. Inspect the. It was no spaceport. Inspect. I have found them in... There's something you melt down, I forget what it was, in the rocket assembly area, and probably fuel control as well. So this kind of whole area, you can find them. I haven't found too many. I just bought them and then kind of ignored that whole step. So that's pretty easy. Next we have Laboratory Reagents, which are... Okay, back to the workshop. Explosives. This one right here. I found 2. These seem pretty annoying to find. They are located in the medical area, so again, I haven't gone to too many medical, or compared to some other areas, I haven't gone to medical as much. But the previous things we talked about with while you're looking for rusted shut medical kit and the cracked bioscanner, hopefully you find 3 of these while you're incidentally doing that. I don't expect this is going to take me too long if I really want to find my third, for example. Rocketeer drivers are a bit more annoying. You have to kill Rocketeers. I'm sure you guys know those. They're the big floating things that shoot rockets at you. They will die in 2 wolf grenades. I believe. What are they called? Wolf pack grenades. I think it requires 2. If you don't want to use those, I don't know what the called for strategy. You probably just shoot them. Or you can actually drag them into buildings, and then they kind of get like really large buildings, and they tend to kind of get stuck. If they follow you into them, and then you just kind of shoot them over time, and presumably you just burn them with, I don't know, blaze grenades and stuff like that. That would be my guess. I haven't really bothered with this too much. I just know the theoretical of how to deal with them. Or, you kill someone after they've killed it. I think that's how I got mine. It was a guy killing one, and I just shot him and then took his stuff. But that's an option for any of these items. All right, let's next move on to the, where is it? Utility station, that's what we have listed next. Damaged heat sinks might be a bit annoying. I found 1 billion, but it's going to be in, well, let's go ahead and actually, let's look at this thing again. You're going to notice a lot of the stuff I'm finding is in this location here, but don't confirm. Inspect. The launch towers. While I was looking for cooling fans, which we'll talk about later, I found, I don't know, probably 10 or more damaged heat sinks. They're just really common, so I wouldn't worry about it. But again, with random loot, I don't know. You might have problems with it, but I find them scattered around all over the place, in just sort of industrial areas and technology areas and stuff like that. The other annoying thing for utility station is going to probably be the Leaper Pulse units. And, oh, sorry, I mixed up. Well, I guess you can do this with the Rocketeers as well. But the leapers are especially tend to get stuck in larger buildings. So you can kind of drag them into a larger building, and then they'll just sort of leap around and get stuck. Or alternatively, again, the wolf pack grenades. That'll do it. So roughly same sort of thing. And lastly, we have the spelled it wrong in the thing. Don't mind that. We have the refiner, not the rediner. Maybe I was hungry at the time. The refiner, pretty simple stuff. You might have issues with the toasters here, but probably not. Those are one of the things I found so early that or people tend to find so early that they refine them before they know what they are, but they're relatively easy to find, so I wouldn't be too concerned. Just, yeah, don't melt them down. Lastly, in the final tier, we have motors. Motors, again, they're kind of difficult. Probably just go during nighttime, search all the cars and stuff, like the car hoods, general industrial areas, stuff like that. Somewhere you would logically expect to find a motor or conceivably find a motor. Keep searching those, and hopefully you find your 3. Again, I haven't. Oh, I guess I have. For a second, I was going to say I didn't have all 3, but. And then the last item we have here is the Bombardier Cell. Bombardiers are the ones that look like the guys with the Gatling guns. I forget what their name is. The Barons, Bastions. They're basically they're the walking tank guys. There's ones with Gatling guns, and there's the other ones with a mortar that come with spotters. Like the spotters are flying around in the air and they go boop boop, and then they'll home in on you, and then just mortars start coming in. This is the thing they'll be shooting, the mortars. And we just talked about this, so it's another familiar location. Go inspect. There is at least one over in here, in the olive grove. Or near the olive grove. He's kind of up more towards the ruined homesteads, and will frequently start to blow you up when you go for the stuff in the olive gardens. So yeah, another one where you got to do wolf packs. Allegedly, they take damage from blaze grenades. So wolf pack, hull breakers, stuff, anything that you use to kill like the really big arcs is what you're going to need to do. This is not a video specializing on that, so I don't want to talk about that. Maybe in a future video after I've done it more or something. But anyway, that's just where you get them. All right. Last thing we're going to cover is, now that we've done all the workstations, is we're going to go over here, and once you reach level 20, you can start doing projects. And then this is how you prestige your character. If you're not sure what this is, I guess don't worry, just maybe start collecting them. And if you're prestiging, you already know what it is, so I'm not going to explain what it is. Let's go back up here. So the Caravan first tier, very simple, just collect stuff. Done. Caravan, the next tier, is really the only annoying thing. It can be cooling fans if you don't know where to get them. So again, let's go to the map just to go to this. Again, same location again. You're going to find a lot of sort of common locations for a lot of good things. But spaceport, once again, the launch towers. You go way up to the top, like you take the zip line up to the top, and there's like kind of, I don't know, the launch tower control room sort of thing on both sides of the tower. There's 2 identical rooms. You can find anywhere between I found up to 2 cooling fans up there. It seems like you are guaranteed at least one. I've never gone up there and not found a cooling fan. They don't tend to be inside, although they can be inside objects, like things you got to breach open. But they'll also just be sitting on like the computer panel things. They're essentially just on shelves. And you just kind of pick them up. But again, they can also be inside things, because I've found up to 2 per run. Again, if you're having issues with cooling fans, that's where you get them. All right, next, light bulbs. Incidentally, I found light bulbs in the launch towers as well, so pretty useful, although they're not really supposed to come from there. Other than that, I've found them off players, mostly. A combination of launch tower and players, but anywhere electrical, you should find them over time. For example, Blue Gate has this Pilgrim's Peak. I never personally found one there. I went there, killed someone, and then took his light bulb, so I'm assuming he found one there. And I think that was the last light bulb I actually needed. So, in that tier, the next one we gotta take a look at is Exodus modules. Exodus modules, I think you can buy, can you? Let me just double check. I didn't actually take notes. I'm doing this off memory here. But, yeah, you can just buy Exodus modules for seeds. So I don't actually know where you get them. Perhaps you can craft them, but if you can buy them, well, why not just buy them? I think I also just found one incidentally while doing stuff.
Lunch is a luxury these days.
Allegedly, they're found in the Exodus location. You gotta do it. Exodus resource locations. So, final tier, humidifiers. I don't have a good answer for that. I found 5 over time. Actually, I found 6 because I accidentally melted one down. But we can, let's go back to Raider projects over here. And so we go to projects. Oh, actually, no, I only found 5. Yeah, so I melted one of them down, so I haven't found my 5th one yet. You just kind of got to wander around in residential areas, and presumably you'll find them over time. If you really prioritize them, presumably you can get them relatively easily. Nighttime residential locations. I've just incidentally found my 4 to 5 while doing other things, and I didn't even really know I needed them until fairly recently. So hopefully your luck is similar to mine, and that's not going to be an issue. Magnetic cores are... These are crafted from... Where are they? You can find them out and about. I found one, I believe. But workshop here are from utilities. No, they are from the refiner, aren't they? Yeah, yeah. So you need a tier 3. I don't have a tier 3. So technically the almost pseudo prerequisite for this is getting the tier 3 with the bombardier cells. So that's kind of annoying to do. But once you do that, you can craft as many as you want. Not too complicated. Might want to save up some arc motion cores and advanced mechanical components so you can make the magnetic accelerators. But yeah, that's how you get them. If you want to farm for them, maybe keep looking around in the Exodus areas, and it might be a faster way of doing it if you're really stuck on getting to this tier 3 of the crafting station. All right, last item we're going to discuss here is the Leaper Pulse Unit. Those are also used for, what was it? Different thing there, wasn't there? Yes, also for the utility station. So I guess it's kind of which thing you want to prioritize. Ultimately, you're going to need 7. That's pretty annoying. If it's 2 Wolfpack grenades per, that's 14 Wolfpack grenades if you're just going to use nothing but that. So good luck hunting Leapers out there. Alright, well, that's basically it for items. Now, I said every item you need for progress. Technically, there are, I believe, some quest items and stuff that are not marked for anything. Keep that in mind. They're not as common. I don't think they're that important. I haven't really paid much attention to it. My main priority for saving stuff has been for caravans and workbench stuff. So, yeah, that's going to be it for me. I've been having a lot of fun playing this stuff. And obviously, this information is like less than a week after launch. If you're watching this way in the future, info will probably change. In fact, like how you prestige, if I had to guess, is probably going to change next season or whatever. So this is the first Caravan. So the Caravan information probably going to be out of date, you know, for the vast majority of the lifetime of this video. But what are you going to do? I can't speak for the future. So thanks for hanging out. This has been Ponce from twitch.tv/Ponce, where I'm live most days. And I'll probably be releasing more Arc Raider videos here and there because, I don't know, for once I actually feel like I have some useful information to share about it. It's not just throwing up videos for the sake of throwing out videos. I certainly would have liked a big list of stuff like this of what I need to save and what I don't need to save right off the bat. And if I had to guess, to be honest, they might patch something in like this, maybe, you know, some months down the line where it's like, if you need it, it will tell you what you need, you know, for upgrades and stuff. Who knows? Maybe it won't. Maybe this video will always remain useful. Until YouTube goes offline. Millions of years from now. Anyway, I'm actually going to go. Thanks for hanging out. See you guys around. Bye.